All right, this is a little impromptu video right here. I got word that there's something really exciting coming down the pipeline with Walmart. I got word from the Bentonville Bike Fest. Unfortunately, I didn't go. I saw the weather was going to be pretty bad, so I made the executive decision not to go, which turned out to be a huge mistake because what they showed me turns out to be huge news, and I'm sure you'll be excited about it. I want to give a huge thanks to, I won't say his last name. I don't know if he want to be exposed like that. I want to give a huge thanks to Doug for letting me know this information. So they were at the Bike Fest and they let me know that there's a new Ozark Trail coming down the pipeline. Now this bike is called the Ozark Trail FS.3, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. FS.3 Fast Flow. Now this was on display at the Bentonville Bike Fest, and I'm so upset that I didn't go because I wanted to check it out in person. I could have showed you some video of it, and I actually had to reach out to my contact at Walmart to say, hey, is this an actual thing? Is this a real bike? I don't know if this is fake or not. And he said, yeah, this is the real thing. I don't know when it's coming out exactly, but I do have a price point that they talked about. He mentioned that they were going to try to be around the $998 price range, and it made me think a little bit. I'm thinking to myself, $1,000 for a bike at Walmart? If you don't know a lot about bikes, that might be a tough sell. But if you know just a little bit about bikes, or just enough to know what a quality mountain bike has for that price, then I think it would be a no-brainer to buy that bike. But if the average consumer is looking at a bike at Walmart and they see something that costs $900, I don't know if they'll pull the trigger. But I think there are enough people out there in the industry that knows a lot about bikes that's willing to take a chance on a bike with the components that's on this bike. Now, I'm not 100% sure what's all on it. I'll put some stuff up on the screen from what I was able to gather. They haven't been able to send me any pictures, but Doug sent me an email with some pictures, just a couple, but it's better than nothing. And I also saw on Hardtail Party's channel that he saw it at the Bentonville Bike Fest. So it is a real thing. It's on his video if you want to go check it out and see it live and in action in the video. It's not being written, but there is a little bit of video he showed on there of the bike. Now, as I'm looking at this, it's on Ozark Trail Ridge Riders. So if you want to go follow that Facebook group, you can. It says, saw this at Bike Fest in Arkansas today, available around June. Has an air fork, it has an air rear shock. Was chatting it up with the rep with the Ozark Ridge. Turns out he was part of the engineering team. Will be priced at $999. He told me it is exactly the same as a stump jumper minus 10 millimeters of suspension front and rear. Now, I did reach out to my guy at Walmart. He said the stump jumper comparison was a little bit blown out of proportion, but he did say the value is what you would get at that price point compared to what you get at $999. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so basically saying you get a lot of value at $999. You get hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear suspension with air adjustments. You get that through axle at the rear, 1x drivetrain. I'm not sure if it's a 1x10, 11, or 12, but I do know it's a 1x drivetrain. You get it looks like a Sunour radon. And if I'm looking at this correct, if it is the Sunour radon, that actually feels really good, because I tried that out on the BMX full suspension bike. If you want to go check that video out, I'll leave that link in the description. But I did the We the People full suspension BMX bike. I did a video on that, and it had a radon rear suspension, and that thing felt great. And it was only 80 millimeters of travel. And I think this bike is 130, 120, if I'm not mistaken. That's not 100% accurate, but I think it's 130, 120. 130 front, 120 rear. But that radon on that little BMX bike with, I think it was either 66 millimeters or 88 millimeters. I think it was 66. That thing felt so plush, and I couldn't believe it. It also has a dropper post. Now, to be able to get hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear suspension with air adjustments, rear through axle, one by drivetrain with the dropper post. Man, for $999, that's a pretty crazy deal. So this thing it's looking like it's going to be a great value. Now I'm looking at the bolts right here. The bolts do look a little bit more sturdy from what I can see than the FS.2 Slalom. And I'm pretty excited about this because I think, man, the Ozark Trail Slalom was an awesome bike. Don't get me wrong. But I think they would have been better off starting with this bike, the FS.3 Fast Flow, over the Slalom. And let me tell you why. Not because it was a bad bike. I think they should have went really aggressive with a really nice hardtail and came out with the FS.3 Fast Flow instead. I think that would have been a great 1-2 punch for Walmart. But the awesome thing about the Slalom is you are able to upgrade that bike as much as you want because it's up to modern standards where you can put any expensive parts or budget parts you want on that bike, which makes it great. And it segues to my next point. This is why I think Walmart bikes are great. So say you bought the Slalom, you're like, man, I bought that bike, now I want to try to get the Fast Flow when it comes out. Well, the Slalom was only $400. Now the Fast Flow, you can get that for $900, and that's still attainable for a lot of people. So say you want to buy the bike, but you say, oh, I got all these parts on my Slalom, and now I want to get the Fast Flow. What's good about that is you can swap those parts over to the Fast Flow. And that's what's crazy about these Walmart bikes is you can upgrade those bikes like you would any other expensive bike. It has all the frame specifications to be upgraded to your heart's content. So if you feel like you lost out or you should have bought this bike or you should buy this bike when it comes out instead of the Slalom, you can just swap whatever parts you put on that Slalom over to the Fast Flow. And I think that's just awesome. And another thing I like about these Walmart bikes is when they do come out with something new. Now this could change because it looks like they keep upping the bar and the price keeps going up. But for right now, it's awesome because say another bike comes out, you could probably still afford that bike. Now say a bike from a big brand company comes out, you can't just say, oh, I want this bike and I got this bike and I want that one too, so I'm gonna just go get that one. No, it don't work like that because you got to spend thousands of dollars. But with these Walmart bikes, you get something and you say, oh, I kind of want to try the new one that just came out. It's not such a huge blow to the pocket. Now everybody's situation is different, but if you're getting quality bikes that's up to standard under $1,000, I think that's hard to beat. I mean, I'll be honest, I love me a fancy bike. I love me a high quality bike. But there's no better feeling than riding a bike that you know you can afford, that is actually fun and it's up to modern standards where you can take it anywhere that you want to take it. I just think there's more fulfillment in that purchase and you get more joy out of the ride when you know that, hey, I actually got a quality product for my hard-earned money. I just don't think you can beat that. But let me know what you think down below with this Fast Flow. I think Walmart is, man, they are not messing around. And if this bike actually comes out, I do think this is going to be, it's going to be a shock to the bike industry system because it's going to really show that you can have a nice quality, fully capable bike for under $1,000. And I think that's where a lot of these budget mountain bikes should be. The ones that are trail ready, that's ready to be ridden right out of the box with no upgrades, they should be able to get these bikes under $1,000. That's just my opinion. I'm not a manufacturer. I don't get into all that behind the scenes, but if Walmart can do it, why can't they do it? That's my question. So let me know what you think down below of this new bike that's coming out.